welcome back to another episode of Second Take. I'm Jillian, that's Armand. Armand said I should start off with a Jill rant, so since that's our new thing, I think I'm gonna go for it. Today, actually, Marcus Lattimore, the player from South Carolina, remember he was like super highly recruited, great player, whatever, got drafted, but before he got drafted, remember he had been injured for a year because he blew out his knee, dislocated it, tore some stuff. We actually had the same injury, so I'm like, we're kind of related. So, he's been on the 49ers, and he hasn't played yet because of his hire today, and a lot of people might be kind of confused about this, but I completely get it, and it's something a lot of players probably should look at and be like, I should kind of do the same thing. Players maybe like Derrick Rose, for instance. Players that you can just tell once they come back from an injury, it's just not there. RG3, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. RG3 has not been the same since he first got hurt. And you can see that by the way he runs, by the way he does everything. He is just watching out for that knee. And Marcus Lattimore was like, my knee is not where it needs to be, and it's not going to be there. For me to be an NFL player, I can't do that with this knee injury. I mean, like I said, we basically had the same injury, and I can't even run with mine, really. So it's like, he pushed himself very far to try to be an NFL player, but injuries are injuries, and some of them can really just be permanent, and I get that, and it sucks, and it's horrible, but it's life. And Marcus Lattimore made a huge step by admitting, you know what, I can't do this anymore, it's just not going to work out, because he's right. And like I said, some players really need to look at this and be like, maybe Marcus got something going on. David Ash did it. I'm sure that wasn't easy for him either, but, it's one of these things that, like, I would rather you man up and say, you know what, football's not going to work out, basketball's not going to work out, whatever your sport is not going to work out due to this injury, than just have these, seasons where you're just not there, you're just not doing well, RG3. Or we come back and then get injured the second game, Derrick Rose. And speaking of Derrick Rose, he actually sprained an ankle or something, and he missed a game already. So we're already starting with that, Okay, best case right here, Greg Oden. Tell me why he's still in the NBA. Tell me why. I'm pretty sure he's played 61 games in his career, and he's been in the league for 7 years. People like this, you gotta let it go, okay? You just gotta let it go. Move on. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point. It's terrible to hear from Marcus Lattimore. He was a very highly recruited player, as you said, but it showed a lot of maturity on his part to say, all right, I really need to put the sport aside because I'm just not going to be the guy everyone wants me to be. I'm not going to be able to play as well as I want to be. I might not be able to play at all. Some players like Derrick Rose, RG3, some of them are holding on to hope. They're also very high caliber athletes. They think that they can still push themselves to be the best player they can be, and in some scenarios, it's not working out. So, but yeah, it's really unfortunate for Marcus Lattimore. He's such a young guy, but hoping for the best for him. Maybe he'll get a spot commentating on ESPN. I mean, that's what a lot of former athletes do. But then with the whole Derrick Rose sprained ankle injury, that's awful to hear as well. I'm not too shocked by it. I mean, Derrick Rose is basically, he has glass bones at this point to me.
He's limber, he's limber. And we all know it, and I feel like he's in denial city because we know it's going to happen. He has not played a full season yet, And he already started this one without playing a full season because he's already missed a game. So it's like we already started off bad, We already have the bad start for Derrick Rose. So I get it. It's so hard, and the reason it's so hard is because these guys have played sports their entire lives, and that's all they cared about. In college, they didn't do much academics. I mean, if these guys drop their sport, what are they going to go do?
Right.
And that's the sad reality is, and this is getting back to the universities, all of this problems that people are doing the work for them, so they're not getting an education, so they have no skills outside of their sport. Right. So, I just got real political right here. It's just went way higher than I meant it to, and Jill Rand just took it way too far, but hey, it's true, okay? It starts at the universities.
Yeah, Jill definitely went 0 to 100 right there. But I'm just quoting songs recently, but anyways, yeah. Well, I can kind of understand why Derrick Rose is continuing to play, though. I mean, he came off an MVP season, and then the next season he had his injury problems. Then the season after that, he has injury problems. But a lot of people have high expectations for him. He has high expectations for himself. Some people think he could be the second coming of Michael Jordan. Not entirely certain about that, but he's coming to Chicago. He's probably the best player they've had since Michael Jordan. So there's very high expectations for him. He wants to win a ring. I get it, but at the same time, like, you just can't put your body through stuff like that. So I mean, I'm hoping he can stay healthy and do some great things for Chicago, but it's hard to believe that that'll happen with the past couple seasons. So we'll see.
Yeah, and talking about injuries, I said last year was the year of the injury. This year's the year of the injury. I mean, it's insane. Armand is crying right now because his Thunder, Exhibit A. Basically, the entire Thunder roster is on IR. So, starting with the top two, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, injured right now. And I'm just looking around, college, NFL, and NBA, and everyone is hurt. I mean, Tony Romo's hurt. I mean, just in case Anthony's watching, sorry, but Tony Romo's hurt. My boy Nick Foles broke his clavicle or something, so he's out. Mark Sanchez is now starting. We'll get to that later. Just all these injuries are just insane. I mean, we've had one of the guys in the Eagles tore his bicep out for the season. The amount of out for the seasons I've seen this year is insane. Just told you how Derrick Rose was hurt. I mean, it's insane. And Swaggy P starting the season for the Lakers, injured. So many of these guys are getting hurt, and it's getting worse by the year. And I don't know what it is, what's going on, but something needs to be fixed because these guys are just breaking out there. And I don't think it's like they haven't drank their milk or something. I think it's something about how these sports are progressing. It's getting physical to a level where it's like out of this world. I mean, how are you tearing a bicep playing football or like tearing a pec muscle? I mean, the things these people are doing to tear these muscles, I don't even know how you would do that. Like, that takes a lot of work to tear these muscles. So there's something going on. I mean, and something's up.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me how there are all these injuries when there are so many precautions being taken by like these sports to prevent injuries with the helmet to helmet contact and the NBA adding the clear path foul and all these different regulations that are meant to protect players and player safety. Yet it seems like there are more injuries every season. It's crazy to me. Yeah, OKC, I'm hurt right now. Durant's gonna be gone for a while. Russell is being reevaluated in like 4 weeks. We don't know. Jeremy Lamb is out. Perry Jones III just got hurt. Andre Robertson, who's not even good, but like he was starting for us. He's hurt. I think he'll be back. But like it's crazy to see so early on. Like, and none of these guys were playing for like the summer team, so they had plenty of time.
After Paul George got hurt, everybody's like, "Oh, we probably shouldn't do that." I mean, Paul George had one of the nastiest injuries. I mean, something is going on because you go into the season and you're like, oh, we're going to be so good because we got X, Y, and Z. But by the second game of the season, X and Y are on injured reserve and all you got left is Z. And, so it's like, I'm glad I don't gamble because all of my bets would be off. Like, everything would be ruined right now because I would have been betting on these teams that look so good on paper, but they get to the court and nobody can play because everyone's hurt, So, I mean, yes, I understand injuries are a part of life where it's the human body. These guys aren't exempt from a human body, getting hurt. But, gosh, it's frustrating. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. During my time away, I would check sports updates and stuff, and I wouldn't hear anything about Jadeveon Clowney. I didn't know he was hurt. Is he back? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he actually did play this past weekend. But again, he's on the Texans, so like his life like sucks from the start. But I mean, yeah, I didn't know he was hurt either, and then I was like, hey, where's he been? We should probably be talking about him a little more. I mean,
let's move on to something that
you can see the frustration. Yeah, I'll do a little game recap. We almost had FSU go down this weekend. So in college football, we got some scores. Number 2, Florida State barely beat number 25, Louisville. They won 42-31. Now they are the only undefeated team. We had number 7, TCU, barely beat number 20, West Virginia, 31-30, so Big 12 matchup there. We had number 3, Auburn versus number 4, Ole Miss. Auburn pulled it out 35-31, good matchup there. Not too surprising, but number 22, UCLA beat number 12, Arizona, 17-7. Always thought they were a little overrated. 14, Arizona State had an overtime game against 17, Utah, and Arizona State won 19-16.
All right. Yeah. One thing I want to talk about in the NFL, to switch topics, the Arizona Cardinals, 7-1, the best record in the NFL. I mean, last season we saw them getting better in Tyrann Mathieu' first season. The Cardinals' defense has started to look a lot better. Their offense is stepping it up, and people were like, "Oh, the Cardinals could be a playoff team next season." And now they have the best record in the NFL. I mean, like it's crazy to see. It's great for them though to be at the top of that very tough division that they're in with the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Rams. So I don't know, and it's
speaking of the Cardinals, can't forget they beat Dallas this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Cardinals have definitely stepped it up, and we're halfway through the season, and they're looking good. I mean, they'll have to play the Seahawks again, and the Rams and the Niners. So I mean, those might be tough games, but Cardinals might be making a push this season. I don't know. We'll see.
I can see that happening. I mean, they're number 1 in the league somehow, so it's pretty impressive. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And then moving on to some NBA, J.R. Smith got into some antics. He is suspended for a game for striking Glenn Rice Jr. in the groin. I just don't get J.R. Smith at all. Like he's so talented in my opinion, but no one can take him seriously, and no one wants him around because of his actions. Last year he's untying people's shoelaces. This year he's hitting people in the nuts. Like why? Like you're an NBA player who's supposed to be setting an example for children as a professional athlete, because children look up to athletes the most, and you're doing things like this. It shows a huge lack of maturity. I don't know how the Knicks have dealt with him for this long, because, I mean, realistically, he hasn't produced as well for them as they thought he would. So, I mean, I don't know, but J.R. Smith really needs to get his entire life together.
I mean, J.R. Smith's a thug, and if the Knicks are sticking with him, there must be a reason for it. It's their problem. They've been handling it, and that's fine. He kind of reminds me of Johnny Manziel, you know? That guy.
Oh, see, why are you bringing up? See, Johnny Manziel has not done anything illegal. Johnny Manziel has not been suspended for hitting people in the nuts. Johnny Manziel just parties a lot and is constantly on social media. But I'm sticking by my prediction that Johnny Manziel will be starting for the Browns eventually. The Browns are actually doing decently this season. They're 5-3. I didn't expect that. So, but I mean, knowing Brian Hoyer, knowing the Browns quarterback history, Brian Hoyer is going to mess up somehow. Johnny Manziel is going to come in, flourish, and lead those Cleveland Browns to the playoffs, as I stated months ago.
No.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Shake your head. Johnny Manziel proved you wrong. He proves everyone wrong, always.
Johnny Manziel was on a Golf Digest magazine, which was pretty embarrassing for him. But I do need to sadly say the Lakers have lost every game, and I'm pretty bummed about it. But on the other hand, the Rockets have won every game. So thank you, Big Dwight, for, giving me hope in this world, because the Lakers ain't doing it for me, and it's making me a little sad.
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to pray for the Lakers, because it's gonna be an interesting season for them. But I mean, maybe Kobe will just step up and drop 60 a game. It realistically won't happen. But hey.
Kobe had 39 points from 37 shots. I mean, he's literally doing all he can. It's just not enough.
That's really all you can do when you have no supporting cast whatsoever. I actually saw a meme this week. It's a pretty popular meme, but it just made me laugh. It was a picture of Kobe sitting on the bench looking angry, and the caption was "Trade everybody." It's just so funny to me. Los Angeles Lakers, anyways.
I'll leave Armand sulking about his crippled thunder, but this is all we got for y'all today. We'll see you next week for episode 40. We have a special guest lined up, I think, so we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.